Hello, hello, everybody. It's Everyday Shenanigans. Thanks for joining me. I told you guys I'd be back, and I am back. I've got several updates, so this live may be a bit winded because I want to recap on some stories that I brought you in the past couple of weeks. There have been some slight updates pertaining to those said storylines, so I want to update you on those said commentaries, topics. Thanks for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. I'm going to go ahead and get started. The first story is pertaining to the Surfside condominium that fell to the ground partially a month ago, and then the city came in and demolished the remaining portion of the building. Hello, Nancy. How are you? Thanks for joining me. The first set of news is about 10 news. Miami-Dade mayor, all missing Surfside victims have been found. It's been over a month since the tragic collapse of the Champlain Tower South condo in Surfside. A total of 98 lives were lost when the building came down in the early morning hours of June 24th. On Monday, Miami-Dade County Mayor Daniela Levine Cava held a press conference with an update on the efforts at the site. After weeks of search and rescue, then search and recovery efforts, the site now sits almost entirely empty. The mayor said that all missing victims have been located and all families have been notified. She thanked the first responders and rescue crews that worked tirelessly over the past 33 days to help bring closure to all those families. The debris and rubble from the collapsed site has been moved to a separate location to be examined and analyzed. The said source is Channel 10 News. As I told you all, a lot has transpired with this situation. There have been many people who have perished, almost 100 people. The last victim has been identified. I think that was Miss Hadaya, and that's the said information. Prayers to the families, prayers to the first responders, prayers to those who are currently displaced, and prayers to those who are still currently living on that beach front and other beachfront locales. Because I'm sure many people are leery about their beachfront in that area, that street, and other locations. So I would say to anybody living in beachfront community, you might want to rethink living on the beach. It is your prerogative, but you see what happened here. 40-year-old building coming down partially, then demolished thereafter for the safety of the surrounding area and crew. This is a serious and dire we have the word to use because there's really no word to use. It's just messed up because this is something that rarely happens. Like I said, 9/11 was by the hands of several people getting together to take down America. This is a building that was up but had some issues, and obviously somebody overlooked some of these issues or didn't think it was serious at the time. And now you see it was, because now there are people dead from being inside that said building. And by the grace of God, there weren't more people who lost their lives in this terrible, terrible fatality. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to go ahead with my next updates. I have a lot of updates, so please bear with me. Okay. Oh my God! So many. I can't even where to start. I'm just gonna go up the way I've got it queued in here. I brought you information about a woman who drowned her daughters down in Florida. And just so happened that day when I went live, her first cousin was in the chat who works at a local jail. And she came up on the panel and gave us a little bit of information pertaining to this female, the dynamics of their relationship, which is non-existent, and what she thought may have happened on that day. She felt like she needs to go to prison for murdering her children, that she feels like she's crazy, but knows better. And she gave her commentary that day when I went live a few weeks ago pertaining to this lady. When you open up this article, you will see a picture of the said suspect. She looks a hot mess. South Florida Sun Sentinel is the source for this information. Lord have mercy. It's been 3 weeks since 2 young girls were found dead in a canal. Now their mom is accused of killing them. When the police arrived at the sprawling working-class neighborhood on a call about a child's body floating in a canal last month, the usual signs of a tragic accidental drowning just weren't there. Missing was a father, anyone standing over the little girl desperately trying to breathe life into the 9-year-old's body. There was no mother racing along the canal's edge screaming out for help, a mother they ultimately would arrest Tuesday, 3 weeks later. Rather, what police faced was a haunting backside of a child near the canal's edge, slowly being pulled by the current toward the deeper 10-foot water. The little girl wore her hair in braids. She had denim shorts and a gray t-shirt. For hours, police tried to find someone who knew her. They looked for missing persons reports. They came back with nothing, so they called her Jane Doe. When police pulled Jane Doe from the water and placed her on the grassy bank, they saw multiple scratches around the child's mouth. There was a small laceration near the left side of the child's lip. According to the police report released to the South Florida Sun-Sentinel late Tuesday afternoon, only after the paper's attorneys got involved. When you open this article, you will see a picture of the two little girls with tiaras on. Look like they are strapped in seatbelts in a car. The next photo, the children are standing, looks like inside of a home, and they have balloons in their hands. Obviously, it's their birthday or they're attending a birthday party. And then across the canal in another Lauderhill neighborhood on that day in June, police saw a woman shrouded in a white blanket. She belted out Bible scripture. One minute she was claiming to be the devil, and the next to be God, neighbors told the Sun-Sentinel. It would take many hours before police learned the woman was the girl's mother, and by then the body of the second child surfaced in the canal. It would take another 21 days before the girl's mother was arrested. Tanessa Hogan was arrested at Florida Medical Center in Lauderdale Lakes on Tuesday evening after police served her with a warrant on 2 charges of premeditated murder and the deaths of her 2 children. Hogan had been under psychiatric care since being discovered near the canal covered by a white blanket on June 22nd. Tuesday night, she was transferred to the Broward County Jail. Wednesday, Hogan refused to stand before a judge to have her bond set. Judge Tabitha Blackman went ahead anyway and ordered Hogan to be held without bond. The Broward Public Defender's Office will represent Hogan. Very little is known about Hogan and her 2 children, Destiny 9 and Daisha 7, said Lauderhill's Lieutenant Michael Santiago. Hogan has really no footprint in social media or public records to provide any insight into who she is. Her home across the canal from where her oldest child was found offered only a few clues that children even lived there, Santiago said. The case itself has offered real challenges, Santiago said. Challenges such as why she would have killed her children. In the said article, you also see a better-looking photo of the suspect. Hair short, she wears it natural. Here in the picture, she has on a black top dress and black earrings. Way better looking than her mug shot, let me say. She has a little bit of makeup on in this said photograph. And know that she is 36 years old, facing 2 counts of first-degree murder. Answers may be in the arrest warrant, Hogan's arrest paperwork, and the probable cause affidavit, all of which Blackman agreed to have sealed up for up to 90 days, while police continue their investigation. Sealing such documents after an arrest is rare. Sealing such documents after an arrest is rare. In court Wednesday, someone from the state attorney's office said the documents needed to be sealed to not compromise the investigation. What is believed to be credible is that police, as well as the Sun-Sentinel, have been told that the night before the bodies of Destiny and Daisha surfaced in the canal, someone claimed to have seen Hogan swimming in the canal while holding a Bible. That woman said Hogan swam over to her and offered to baptize her children. The offer was declined. The idea that Hogan is a religious zealot seemed palpable as more people shared observations. People said Hogan was the type to seemingly pop out of nowhere to discuss the Bible. Perhaps the most ominous was the report that a woman believed to be Hogan, but possibly disguised in black shiny wig with long curls, was spotted a week before her girls died holding a sign saying death is the only answer. Anyone who may have information about Destiny, Daisha, and Tanessa Hogan is asked to call the Lauderhill Police Department at 954-497-4700 to remain anonymous and be eligible for a reward. Call Broward County Crime Stoppers at 954-493-8477. Eileen Kelly can be reached at 772-925-9193 or ekelly@sunsentinel.com or follow on Twitter at reporterkel. So the first cousin was on my live. So obviously they want to know something about this chick. I don't know what this cousin can give since they don't have a relationship. They don't talk. But perhaps the brother can give some information. She did say there's a brother who could give information pertaining to this lady. But I do find that funny. This woman had 2 children under the age of 10. She's not on social media Facebook, IG, TikTok, nothing. Very, very odd in this modern day. Very odd. But somebody knew her. She laid down and made 2 kids, so somebody knows her, knows of her. Her neighbors know something. They may not have been friends with her, but they know something. They might be able to speak of her habits, who was coming and going out her house. Very strange. Black woman swimming in a damn canal with a Bible. I'm dead. Okay. Prayers for the victims. Because naturally, I do not know if they've had funeral services or not. So this is what's strange to me. They're asking in this article if anybody got any information. So one would have to ask themselves, well, who buried the children? Because obviously whoever buried them might have information. Unless people in the community are going to get together and put the children to rest properly. It's a very sad, sick situation. So this lady who was on my live, who was the first cousin, know that authorities are trying to get any information they can pertaining to your first cousin. So perhaps one of you all would like to call the local authorities and give them some information about Vanessa Hogan. South Florida Sun Sentinel is the source. Thank you all for joining me. You want to donate to the channel, $ Big Andrew 129 Cash App. Amen. Okay, on with the next story. I got so many. Whew, Lord of mercy. I done forgot what I done forgot where I was. What was I talking about before that? Jeez. Surfside. So I've talked about Surfside. The last victim has been located, identified. This next story I just brought to you is out of Florida about the 2 children drowned by the mother. She's now in jail on first-degree murder charges, premeditated. The next story is another baffling story about a small child found in water. This is out of Georgia. This is for the baby who was found, African-American child in the Chattahoochee River. I have an update to that said information. CBS 46 is the source. Toddler found in Chattahoochee River is the child of a woman arrested. This is uploaded July 20th. We now know that the woman who was arrested in connection to a toddler who was pulled from the Chattahoochee River is the boy's mother. On July 1st, Cobb County firefighters found the body of a young boy near Paces Mill Park in the river. 1 day later, Brianna Cooper, 27, was arrested on charges of concealing a death. However, at that time, it was unclear of Cooper's relationship to the toddler. Tuesday, Cobb County authorities confirmed Cooper was indeed the boy's mother. Police tell us the relationship was confirmed through a DNA match. No other new details have been provided. CBS 46 reporter Jamie Kennedy spoke with a family friend who said Cooper was a really nice kid growing up and that her mother doesn't understand why she may have done this, adding that her actions really do have the whole family baffled. So somebody is saying she was a nice kid. Well, she's not a kid anymore, she's an adult. So how a person was as a kid doesn't count as an adult. I think we all know that. Okay. The family friend also said no funeral arrangements have yet to be made for the little one. Authorities are yet to release his body. Back on July 1st, when the toddler was found, police said it appeared the child had been in the water for a couple of days. In this said information, you will see a picture of the defendant who has no bond. And you also will have a 56-second clip pertaining to the child news clip. And another is a 1 minute 27 clip in the said information. That's basically all this article is saying. Is that, she's appeared in court for the judge. And at that time, she was saying she didn't have legal representation because they wouldn't let her use the phone. But this is just an update to verify that she is the mother of the child. Brianna Cooper is the mother through a DNA match. She's 27 years old, and the child was found near Paces Mill Park in Georgia. And I always thought it was odd that they were trying to figure out who she was. Very, very strange. So what was this chick's problem? Killing her kid. First, we got one that thinks she's Jesus. Then she's the devil. And she's drowning both her babies down in the Florida canal. She's also, before that, swimming in the damn canal with a Bible. Then somebody said they believe she was dressed in a wig. Curly wig. Incognito. Spewing probably God knows what. Now we got this goofy chick, another African-American female, drowning her baby or dumping her baby in the damn Chattahoochee River. I'm done. CBS 46 is source for this story out of Georgia. Stephen Avery is my next update. For those of you who followed the content on Netflix, Making of a Murderer. It's a very, very detailed documentary pertaining to the death of a woman who was found, or rather, not found, but her car was found on one of his properties, junkyards, and he was believed to have murdered the woman alongside his nephew. For those of you who follow the content, Fox 11 News is the source. Decision expected in Stephen Avery's appeal. A state appeals court is expected to issue a decision Wednesday in the Stephen Avery case. Avery serving a life prison for the 2005 murder of Teresa Halbach. Avery, who has denied killing the freelance photographer, has lost every appeal to date. The latest appeal involves a review series of post-conviction decision by a circuit court judge. Kathleen Zellner, Avery's attorney, commented on social media Tuesday about the impending ruling. This was uploaded yesterday. Tomorrow, the appellate court announces its decision in Stephen Avery's case. We are hoping justice prevails, but regardless of the outcome, our quest never ends until Stephen is free. At Making a Murderer, #Truth Wins. And this is by Kathleen Zellner's Twitter account. It's on her Twitter account. Okay, that was a brief story there. I thought there was going to be more. But basically, this is by Fox 11 News pertaining to Mr. Stephen. And it says they're expected to make a decision Wednesday, which is today. And he is currently serving a life prison sentence for the 2005 murder of Teresa Halbach. There are many people who have weighed in on this story. Some believe he did it. Some believe he didn't. Some think the nephew helped. Some people think he didn't. The nephew has been diagnosed as a severely slow individual, a mental disability. So one would have to ask themselves, did he willingly participate in helping discard the lady, murder the lady, and or did Stephen ask him to help, assault the lady, whatever? Or is it all made up? Is this a false confession? In the real world, it's hard to believe that anybody would confess to a crime they did not commit. But we have seen time and time again with true crime programs, there have been many people who have admitted to a crime in order to get out of the interview room. But I cannot believe in your sane mind you would admit to killing someone, hurting someone, in lieu of thinking you're going to get out of that interview room. Once you confess to a crime, you are not leaving that room. You are getting ready to go be handcuffed, fingerprinted, and put in a jumpsuit until a bond has been given to you, even if you can even get a bond. Thank you all so much for joining me. Very interesting information. Please check that out on Netflix, Making of a Murderer. It's very interesting commentary. Very interesting commentary. Let me go back down because I want to see what else I have pertaining to Stephen Avery. So I think I had something else about him. Hold on 1 second. Ooh, I mean, I got so much, it's sickening. Okay, this is by Fox. If you need a source. Court rejects new trial for Netflix's Making a Murderer, Stephen Avery. The Wisconsin Court of Appeals Wednesday unanimously rejected Making a Murderer subject Stephen Avery's request for a hearing on new evidence that he wanted to present for a new trial. As I stated, he's serving a life sentence for the 2005 killing of photographer Teresa Halbach, a case that became the focus of a popular Netflix series whose creators raised questions about the convictions of Avery and his nephew, Brendan Dassey. Avery's attorney, Kathleen Zellner, asked the court to consider claims ranging from insufficient scientific evidence to ineffective trial counsel. That request had been rejected in 2017 without a hearing, and Avery, in his latest appeal, had asked for a hearing or new trial to consider the evidence. Avery raised a variety of alternative theories about who killed Halbach and how, the appeals court said, but it sided with attorneys for the State Department of Justice, who argued the type of motion Avery filed is not the proper one to retry the case before a jury. The appeals court said because Avery was appealing the lower court's denial of a request for a new trial without holding any without holding an evidentiary hearing. The question before the appeals court was simply whether a hearing is warranted. It concluded that the lower court correctly rejected the call for a new trial without a hearing. We express no opinion about who committed this crime. The jury has decided this question, and our review is confined to whether the claims before us entitled Avery to an evidentiary hearing. The appeals court said, we conclude that the circuit court did not erroneously exercise its discretion. Zellner, Avery's attorney, did not immediately return a message seeking comment. Both Avery and Dassey maintained their innocence. The case gained national attention in 2015 after Netflix aired Making a Murderer, a multi-part documentary examining Harvard's death. The series spawned conjecture about the parents' innocence. But those who worked on the case accused the filmmakers of leaving out key pieces of evidence and presenting a biased view of what happened. The filmmakers defended their work and supported calls to set Avery and Dassey free. Dassey was 16 when he confessed to detectives he helped his uncle rape and kill Havoc at the Avery's family salvage yard. A judge threw out the confession in 2016, ruling it was coerced by investigators using deceptive tactics. That ruling was later overturned by a federal appeals court, and the U.S. Supreme Court declined to hear his case. Avery has been fighting unsuccessfully for years to have his conviction overturned and to be granted new trial. The Associated Press contributed to this report. So Dassey is still locked up, the young boy, and it's very sad because he is mentally disabled. So you don't know if he was there at the time, he went along with it, and we know the detectives are savvy in trying to get a confession and information out of a person. They will lie to you in interrogation. They will tell you that Pookie said something. Pookie turned you over. Pookie gave up the goods on you, and it doesn't mean Pookie said anything. So you're entitled to believe what you want pertaining to Mr. Avery and Dassey. I still have reservations that Dassey was involved, but nonetheless, it is what it is. Courts have rejected a new trial for Mr. Avery, and he and Mr. Dassey are still currently incarcerated. That's the sad information coming out from Fox News. The next source is pertaining to James Brown. Thank you all for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. NME is the source. James Brown's family settled 15-year feud over late singer's estate. The singer passed away on Christmas Day, 2006. James Brown's family had finally settled a 15-year legal wrangle over the late singer's estate. It comes after Brown specified in his will in 2000 that he would leave very little to his heirs other than a $2 million scholarship fund for his grandchildren. But his daughters, Deanna Brown, Thomas, and Yama Brown, among others, found a way to inherit potentially millions of dollars following his death. While the settlement terms have not been made public, several of Brown's children and grandchildren are likely to split up termination rights on the copyright to Brown's 900 compositions, reports Billboard. Lord have mercy. Many of Brown's songs are due to revert back to the late singer's control in the coming years under U.S. copyright law, which will allow his heirs to license them to commercials, TV shows, movies, and video games, or sell them outright. The legal wrangle centered around Tommy Ray Heine, who claimed to be Brown's wife, even though South Carolina courts determined later she was married to another man at the time of her marriage to Brown. What? Shut your mouth. Now, she know better than that. Brown himself was aware of this, filing at one point for an annulment before backing off when Heine agreed to 2004 to forever waive any claim to a common law marriage, according to court documents. For much of the 15-year legal dispute over Brown's estate and holdings, Heine agreed to deals with publisher Warner Chappell to sell termination rights for 5 songs for $1.875 million. But Brown, Thomas, along with other family members, filed legal action in 2018, calling them illegal black room agreements, deliberately designed to destroy, circumvent, and or dilute plaintiffs' interests. In June 2020, the Supreme Court in Brown's home state of South Carolina eventually ruled Heine was not the late singer's legal wife, ruling out much of her influence over the estate. Although she was part of the latest settlement, it is believed she is unlikely to profit from Brown's holdings. Last year, it was reported that claims that the singer was murdered could potentially be investigated. A formal investigation is yet to be opened. Brown passed away on December 25, 2006 at the age of 73. Said information is by NME.com. So, monies will be divided up between these people. I don't know how many people it's going to be. But we're talking about a 15-year feud, and that's to be expected when you have a lot of people trying to make claims to somebody's estate. Obviously, James Brown didn't want to give y'all his damn money, and yet y'all went to court anyway, trying to get this man's money. It's very interesting. Deanna Brown Thomas and Yama Brown, among others, found a way to inherit potentially millions of dollars. But still, in the end, there will be conflict because you got to remember, all these people who are going to be on the paperwork to receive monies from Brown, they still got to all get together when it's time to release the songs for, like they said, commercials, advertisement, movies. You all still got to get an agreement on that. So it's going to always be somebody got to go sit at the table to say yes or no, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no on the amount. It's always going to be a problem. Just think about it. It took 15 years to get to this point. Sad. Very sad. James Brown is probably flipping in his grave. Them SOBs got my damn money anyway. Lord, have mercy. Help. Woo! I'm dead. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for following the content, listening. 18 viewing. Amen. Yeah, 15 years. That's a long time. That's very... I don't know what to say. Thank you all for joining me. All right. So I brought you information pertaining to Mr. Avery, the woman who drowned her child in the Chattahoochee River or dumped her child there. I brought you information about the 2 daughters found in the canal in Florida. I brought you information about Surfside, James Brown. And now I want to bring you some information out of Shreveport, because something is going on in Shreveport, Louisiana. Most of you know I just left the bayou a week ago. And after watching these notifications come up in my phone pertaining to these dead women in Shreveport, I don't know what the hell's going on down there, but I'm going to bring you 3 different stories of Black women who have been murdered recently in Shreveport. And I don't know if it's the men they're choosing, what's going on, but there's some hanky-panky going on with these young men in these relationships. I'm going to bring you the main story of my video because I want you all to have information about this young lady that was missing and they found her discarded out in the street, Shreveport, Louisiana. Thanks for joining me. KTBS 3 is the source, ABC. This is uploaded the 13th of this month. Body found Monday identified as missing Shreveport teen. When you go into this article, you will see an Amber Alert, a level 2 child endangerment alert by the Louisiana State Police with her picture. And it will give you her age, her weight. And at the time when this was uploaded, she was 17 years of age, 5'10", 130 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Last seen in the area of Jacob Street and Kennedy Avenue, Shreveport. It gives you a description of what she was wearing, yada, yada, yada. Well, she was a missing person at the time, and then she was found. I'm going to give you the said information. Channel 3 ABC is the source. A body found in West Shreveport Monday has been identified as that of Shamia Little, 17, who disappeared last week. Little was reported missing Wednesday morning. She was last seen a week ago in the area of Jacob Street, Kennedy Avenue, near Douglas Williams Park. Police discovered her body in the 4100 block of Curtis Lane, not far from where she disappeared. The Caddo Parish Coroner's Office said an autopsy will be performed to determine the cause of death. The Coroner's Office has already listed Little's death as a homicide. Her death is the 49th so far this year in Shreveport. Police have said Little and her 17-year-old boyfriend were robbed near the park, and the boy ran to the police. When the police arrived at the park, Little could not be located. Stay woke. State police canceled the level 2 endangered missing child advisory Monday. That's the end of that article. Well, they canceled it because they found her dead. She was discarded. And I find it interesting that a boy would go call the police to say he and this girl were robbed, but then he's nowhere to be found when they come back to the park. And when you go into Google, you'll see a lot of commentary pertaining to this child. It's very, very sad situation. I'm going to bring you another source of information pertaining to Miss Little. Not Miss Little, but yeah, Shamia Little, excuse me. KSLA 12 is the source. Community reacts after missing teen is found dead. This was uploaded the 13th of this month. Shreveport's Moortown community is processing the loss of 17-year-old Shamia Little. On July 13th, the Caddo Parish Coroner's Office identified a body found between Greenwood Road and Pro Street as the missing teen. This location is less than a mile from the Douglas Williams Park, the last place Little was seen before she went missing. Officials say they are now investigating the case as a homicide. There are still many questions on potential suspects and what really happened to Little. When you go into this article, you will see uh, a relative, I believe it's her mother or somebody speaking in the news clipping. Many who live in the neighborhood say they are in shock after hearing the news, especially those who live close to the park. I just don't understand, man. Something like this so tragic happening so close to the family and so close to our home. We stay right beside the park. Didn't nobody see nothing. It was so quiet. Nothing like that happens on this end of the neighborhood, resident Quincy Jones said. Police have confirmed they are looking into at least one suspect. However, no arrests have been made. Patricia Watkins says this is impacting everyone in the community, specifically parents. I don't know her personally, but that's a child. She wasn't nothing but 17 and she didn't deserve it. It hurt me. It hurt my daughter just like we knew her, said Watkins. She says this is the time for everyone to come together to help the family get through this. I don't know how it feels to lose a child and everything like that, but I can't just tell her to try hold her head up, said Watkins. KSLA reached out to Shamia's mother, who says she's doing okay and is just trying to make it through. Authorities urge anyone with any information about Shamia Little's death to call Shreveport police detectives at 318-673-7300 or 318-673-6955 or contact Caduce, I don't know how I'm pronouncing this word, it's Caddo or Caduce Shreveport Crime Stoppers by calling 318-673-7373, using the organization's website, or using the P3 Tips app to provide information anonymously. Crime Stoppers is offering a $3,000 reward for information that leads to the arrest of those responsible for the homicide. And naturally, there was a lot of articles that came up about the young lady, information from her mother pleading for her, quest to find the little girl, clues and phone records, surveillance video. This is female's body found in a field in Shreveport. Just a lot was pertaining to this young lady. I'm going to pull this article up here about the phone records and surveillance video. I'm going to see what that has to say. This was uploaded the 7th, but updated the 8th. This is at the time when they were looking for her. Shreveport police no longer actively searching for a missing 17-year-old girl. However, the case remains under investigation. 12 News is the source. Shamia Little was reported last seen at Douglas Williams Park near Jacob and Kennedy Streets around 11 p.m. Tuesday, July 6th. Shamia is described as a black female who stands at 5'10", 130 pounds. Last seen a blue soccer jersey and black Nike soccer shorts with a white horizontal stripe. Now her family is sharing new photographs of the missing teenager in hopes it will bring her home. Now this is at the time when she was missing. Naturally, she was found discarded. SPD officials say the case is being treated as a possible abduction. K-9 units and helicopters were deployed Wednesday afternoon to search for the girl. And I'm very glad they did that, because we hear so many horrible stories of African Americans going missing and not anybody caring or appearing to care that they were missing. So at least they put out the dogs and the helicopters for this child, because by right, she was a child at the time of her death. An alleged teenage witness spoke to police at length and was released into custody of his parents Wednesday night. That witness reportedly told police that he was in a relationship with Little and that they were hanging out at the park when it happened. Police say he told them a strange man walked up to them, pointed a gun at them, took their cell phones, and had them walk into a wooded area nearby. At this point, the witness reportedly ran away and found an officer parked at the library branch on Greenwood Road and told him what happened. Police say they searched the park and found the alleged witness's shoes in the park. Officials with the police department say they've reviewed surveillance footage from a couple of nearby places, but nothing has been helpful thus far. The investigation now centers on a search for clues in phone records and additional surveillance video. At this time, they say there's no active manhunt for Little. Louisiana State Police has issued a Level 2 Endangered Missing Child Advisory on behalf of SPD. This was all at that time. So we have a boyfriend, girlfriend in a park. A stranger walks up, demands their phones, and make them walk into the park, into the woods. He gets away, which some of us may find strange. Why did you leave your girlfriend behind? Very, very strange story. Very, very strange. Just going to reread this because something's not right. Thank you all for joining me. So the boy got released into the custody of his parents. The witness told police he was in a relationship with Miss Little, and they were hanging at the park when it happened. A strange man walked up, pointed a gun, took their phones, and had them walk into a wooded area nearby. At this point, the witness reportedly ran away and found an officer parked at the library branch on Greenwood Road and told him what happened. They searched the park and found the alleged witness's shoes in the park. So that means what? The perpetrator made them come out their shoes as to hinder him from running. Well, you see, it didn't stop him. If this is virgin, it's the truth. But the sad part is he left the girl behind. So he thought of himself, allegedly went and got help to the police, but left her behind, and she was later found discarded somewhere else. Very, very sad. And it is now being treated as a homicide, the death of Shamil Little. Anybody have any information, please call the Shreveport Police Department, and you will get a reward. Let me see if this will play. I don't think you all can hear this if I play it. I don't think it'll be loud enough on this other device. Let me see. Thank you all for joining me. Hold on. Hello, everybody in the chat.
In the last hour, we got details in the investigation of a missing 17-year-old Shreveport girl.
Yes, too light.
Witness her abduction was released to custody of his parents. See, witness told police he was with Shemaiah 2 nights ago when an armed man held him at gunpoint in Doe Williams Park and walked him into a wooded area. The witness says he ran off and reported what happened to police. He told police the armed man took his and Shamia's cell phones. Police searched the area near the park with canines and a chopper yesterday, but are not actively searching right now. Shamia's mother believes someone knows something. There's no one coming for answers. There's nothing I say. And the cops out there, the drones out there, the dogs out there.
I'll have to find something a little louder because this commentary you can't really hear. But somebody knows something. I am curious about this young boy because you don't want to make people out to be a liar when they're coming forward with information pertaining to a crime. But I do find it interesting. He is the last one to see her, allegedly. And I'm trying to figure out why this guy would steal their phones and then you take off running. Don't try to fight off the guy with her, or these two don't try to run together or beat up the guy. You leave a female behind. And then we later find out she was discarded not too far away from the park. Murdered. And they'll tell him what else the man did to the lady, the young girl, 17-year-old. It's just a very strange and odd story. Very, very peculiar. And nonetheless, somebody harmed her. And it would be a shame to find out this boy did this to her. But I don't want to accuse him because I don't know him and I don't know all the circumstances of what was going on between he and her, what was going on in that park, who all was in the park, were there other people in the park, was this a jealousy issue between him and the girl, or was somebody else jealous of him and the girl's relationship and they were watching them in the park that night? See, you never know. Okay, I'm going to bring you some more information pertaining to Shreveport, Louisiana. They've got a lot of hanky-panky going on down there. I don't know what's going on. When I was Googling an update for Shamia's story, I came across this story. It's really baffling that all these black women are showing up dead down there by the hands of somebody. KSLA 12 is the source. 28-year-old woman found dead at apartment complex with gunshot wounds in the head, chest. Identified. Suspect arrested. This was June 4th. So this is over a month and a half ago, almost 2 months ago. Emergency responders went to the scene of a deadly shooting in Shreveport Friday afternoon. The Caddo Parish Coroner's Office identified the victim as Shamika Robinson, 28. She was positively identified through fingerprint comparison. An autopsy was ordered. The incident happened late in the afternoon on Friday, June 4th, around 4:15 p.m. in the 9300 block of Mansfield Road at the Southport Apartments. At least half a dozen units with the Shreveport Police Department initially responded to the scene. Family members reported that they were unable to get in contact with Robinson for a couple of days and were concerned about her. Police say they were called out to the complex for a welfare check and found the door to the victim's apartment open. She was located inside dead with gunshot wounds to the head and chest. Police say they're not sure how long she has been dead, but she was active on Facebook as of 19 hours ago. Investigators responded to the scene to collect evidence and interview witnesses. Investigators identified Robinson's boyfriend, Benjamin Franklin, 23, as the person they believe responsible for her death. Franklin was taken into custody at his home without incident. He was also identified by detectives with the Tactical Robbery Unit as a possible suspect in an armed robbery of a Circle K on Uri Drive on May 6th. And then it said, commentary, you will see a mug shot of a young 23-year-old Benjamin Franklin. Very young, very dumb. Franklin was booked into the Shreveport City Jail on one count of second-degree murder and one count of armed robbery with the firearm. So here we have a woman who's a couple of years older than this guy she's dating. She's 29, he's 23, 6 years difference. And that's a lot of years when you're dealing with someone who's immature and goofy and ignorant. Just to snuff out a woman for no reason, you're ignorant, yes. What happened with these two? What was said? Why did he kill this girl, this lady? He shot her in the head and her chest. So this is very personal. And the fact that he had just robbed a Circle K is interesting. On May 6th. So on May 6th, he's accused of robbing a store. And then she's found dead June 4th. Not even a whole 30 days. So he's on one. Robbing a store, and then not even a month later, killing his girlfriend. Was he on drugs? I don't know. Did they argue? I don't know. When I get to said information, I'll bring you the source. Southport Apartments. This is another death in Shreveport, alongside Shamia Little, 17, discarded not too far from a park. What's going on with these young black women down here in Shreveport? Very, very strange. Then I'm going to bring you another story out of Shreveport. Thank you all for joining me. God bless all of you. KTBS 3ABC is the source for this next information. This is uploaded June 17th. So now we're talking about 2 deaths in the month of June pertaining to 2 African-American women out of Shreveport, Louisiana. Woman found behind dumpster dies of gunshot. A Shreveport woman shot in the head June 1st and found behind a dumpster at a housing complex on Lakeshore Drive has died. The Caddo Coroner's Office identifies the woman as 18-year-old, I think is Zanaya Theus of Bobtail Circle. She died Wednesday night at the let's see, I don't know if I pronounced this right. Ochsner LSU Health Neurological Intensive Care Unit. If I'm not pronouncing it, excuse me. Shreveport police found Theus behind the ARC of Caddo Bossier, located on Lakeshore at Glen Avenue. Anyone with any information should contact the Caddo Parish Shreveport Crime Stoppers at 673-7373. All calls will remain anonymous and you may get a cash reward. So here now we have Crime Stoppers involved. In this case of an 18-year-old and then the 17-year-old girl who's in the park with her boyfriend found discarded not too far from that park. 2 girls year apart, same month, both murdered. Besides this other lady who was killed in her apartment by her boyfriend. There's something obviously in the water in Shreveport. They've had, I know, over 100 murders since the first of the year, because I believe I found that when I was Googling everything today to bring you this information. 3 ABC News is the source for this lady found in a dumpster, behind a dumpster, later dies at the hospital. Zanaya Theus, 18. Why did somebody shoot her? And found in a dumpster, behind the dumpster of a housing complex. So they shot her, obviously, there, and then carried her and put her behind the damn dumpster of the apartment complex. I'm dead. Behind the dumpster, excuse me, on apartment complex. She died at the hospital in intensive care unit. No information about her. I will stay on this story as well. Get information about who she is, what was going on with her. So as I stated, I brought you a 17-year-old discarded. Her and her boyfriend allegedly robbed at gunpoint in a park one night. She's later found down the road, discarded. Now we got a girl found dead behind a dumpster on an apartment complex. She's 18. The other one's 17. And then we got another woman, 29 years old, found dead in her apartment, shot by her 23-year-old boyfriend. All of these stories intertwining the month of June or so. All African-American women, 2 young, and 1 almost 30 years of age. Very, very sick. Very, very sick. Prayers to the victims' families. I got one more update to bring to you, and this is pertaining to the triple homicide out of Houston. I got a mild update pertaining to that punk that snuffed out that family in Houston. Very, very sick. Very, very sick. You know, we all suspected hanky-panky with this guy, suspect. I always thought whoever shot this couple and their kid, that they knew him. He didn't just randomly walk up 2 flights of stairs and murder these people. He knew something about them, something. Robbed them. Robbery, I suspected possibly, yes. So we find out later it's robbery. And we also find out this son of a SO something, he was a busy bee himself that day. Just sick. Very, very sick. Thank you all for joining me. Yes, the Queen had a lot of updates today. I'm waiting for it to load. Yeah, well, yeah, you gotta preach that V to somebody that cares, because we got a lot of nasty folks out here, honey. I say this to the ladies, and myself included, you have to be careful the company you keep. You don't know people. Even if you're in an abusive situation and you decide to leave, your life is still in danger, because if a person is beating on you, hurting you, harming you, even leaving, they say it's usually when they will try to harm you. You don't leave an abusive person at that moment. You articulate a time to leave that is safe. Don't ensue an argument. Leave when they are out of dodge. They are out of the way, not seen. That's when you leave an abusive person. You never incite an argument, and you never go toe-to-toe with them at that time of the abuse. You lay low, and when they are out of sight, you hightail your tail out of there. But never threaten to leave somebody that's beating you up. You don't say anything. You wait till the coast is clear, and then you vacate the premises. That's how you do that. And it's not to say they will not try to find you, hunt you down, because in this era, people just don't have money to up and move. The housing market is jacked up. People cannot just up and move from their house, their apartment, their duplex, wherever they live, to hide from somebody. You literally have to go underground if you think you're dealing with a diabolical mind. And it is also dangerous to go to your friend's house, your family, because that person knows those people. And naturally, they will go to them. They will call them. They will stalk them, watch their house, their home. They're going to go to your job, their job. You got somebody that really want to hurt you. They will follow through to hunt you down. So you literally would have to go underground to get away from somebody who is abusive. And most people cannot afford to go underground. They just can't. It costs to go underground. To stay in a hotel for a week is expensive. To be able to work. And that's the situation. You got to be able to work, hold down a job. God forbid you have children. That's a whole nother situation. God forbid he's the parent of one of your children. It's not like what people think. It's easy to say, just leave, just leave. Yeah, anybody can walk out the door, but where are you going? That's the problem. Here's my last update pertaining to triple homicide out of Houston, Texas. It's taking forever for it to upload. I don't know why. I don't know why it doesn't want to upload for some reason. Strange. Hold on one second. I've decided to start doing something different on this network. Each week, I'd like to bring a cold case of a crime that it was not solved by law officials and chop up any information, evidence brought forward by law enforcement, associates, friends, neighbors, commentary, and revisit the case. That is something I would like to do on the network. I'd also like to start back doing what I was doing a year or so ago, recommending movies to the chat. I do have a movie in mind that will be playing at the movie theaters here shortly. I wrote it down. I will have to go to my notes to find it. But I will start doing something different on the network besides the same thing all the time. I have to break up the monotony of everyday shenanigans. Thank you all so much for joining. KHOU is the source, Channel 11. HPD, suspect in murders of parent's child, now charged in carjacking that happened right before the murders. Houston police say Xavier Davis stole the Jeep Compass he used as his getaway car an hour before he killed a couple and their 6-year-old daughter. This was uploaded July 7th, a bit late. Sorry for that. I did bring you all information that he was apprehended. Okay. Now this is playing in here. I don't know why this is playing. Okay, here we go. New charges have been filed against the suspect charged with killing a Southwest Houston couple and their 6-year-old daughter on June 30th. The victim's 10-year-old daughter was also shot and critically wounded. Xavier Davis, 28, already faced 3 capital murder charges and 1 charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Now he faces an additional charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Houston police said Davis stole a Jeep Compass an hour before he killed 6-year-old Harmony Carhey, 35-year-old Gregory Carhey, and 29-year-old Donyavia Lagway. The vehicle was stolen at gunpoint in the 10,000 block of Larkwood, and Davis used it as a getaway car after the murders in the 12100 block of Fondren. He was being held on a $1 million bond, but the judge revoked the Tuesday at least until all of the cases can be combined. I think that based on the severity of the charges and based on the facts in this case, I was anticipating that he would be held at no bond and expected that from Judge Warren, and I believe ultimately he made the right decision, Chandler Rain with the Harris County District Attorney's Office said. In many cases, capital cases are without a bond until lawyers get adjusted to the case and find out what the facts are and what's going on with the case, the person's background, things like that. Davis's lawyer, Casey Kernan, said. Davis was already in jail on an unrelated family violence charge when detectives linked him to the triple murder case. Davis's next court date has not been set. And naturally, 48 Hours has a Twitter page, and they have the couple on the page and a picture of the young daughter who was murdered beside them. So if you like to check out the content of 48 Hours Mystery, that was their headliner on CBS, but they have now changed their logo to 48 Hours. If you like true crime, they also have a Twitter page. That is the said information. So he robbed someone at gunpoint, a Jeep Compass, to use as his getaway. And I always wondered that when I first heard the story and they said that the apartment complex was off a busy street. So first thing I said was, well, once it's busy, it's going to be hard trying to find a suspect because they could jump over here, jump over there, get away quick. And quick he did. He went and found an innocent person, another one, and robbed them and stole their car to get away from this triple homicide. Very, very telling. He's facing 3 capital murder charges and 1 charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And it's just hard to believe this man went up to these people's house to rob them, threw a baby down in the floor by the head, shot these 3 people, shot the older daughter, and she played dead. And luckily, the other child wasn't home at the time. It's just sick. He's on a $1 million bond that was revoked on a Tuesday. There's also a said video in the said commentary. Channel 11 News is the source. I want to thank you all for joining me. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie, 129 Cash Out. Today I brought you various stories. Some true crime, some updates. Most of them were true crime except for James Brown. And I never heard anything about James Brown murder being suspicious. So that bothers me because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I didn't even remember him dying on Christmas. But to hear that somebody thinks that possibly his death is suspicious, that's bad news. And as you see, when people are wealthy, people will fight over your money because they want to have it. And obviously, James Brown did not want to leave his money to his relatives, but they are getting the money regardless. 15 years of feuding, the judge decided to divide the money up between the siblings and the grandchildren. But he did leave a will to leave some money to the grandchildren for, I think, schooling. They have won a judgment from the judge to divide the money up amongst relatives. It's amazing what death can do to people. When people feel like they are obligated to receive your funds and your estate. The way it is. 3 women murdered, Shreveport, all different women, different ages, 17, 18, 29. Sad, sick. 3 people gunned down in Houston. That person is now incarcerated, facing murder charges, possibly even death. Woman drowning or discarding her baby in the Chattahoochee River. Another mother killing and drowning her 2 daughters in a Florida canal. Stephen Avery accused of murdering Teresa Hallback back in 2005, 2006. He and his nephew still incarcerated in prison for the rape and death, murder of Teresa Hallback. Those are the said updates I brought you today. Trying to make sure I remembered everything in my commentary. That was a lot of updates today. And also Surfside. All victims have been recovered from Surfside condo. And that building has been demolished. And all victims are accounted for. Just want to make sure I'm recapping all the stories for those coming in late who didn't know what I was talking about in this live. Can't put it all up in the title. But those were a lot of updates. Prayers for the victims' families. Prayers for our children. If you see something, say something. I know a lot of people don't like to get involved in people's business because you can get yourself wrapped up in drama, even by trying to intervene on somebody's behalf. Yeah, I need a breath because that was a lot I brought. But anyway, I wanted to get it all out because I didn't want to do separate videos per topic. So I decided to put them all in the updates in one video. But thank you all for listening. And thank you for following the content, subscribing, putting your comments on the community page. I appreciate it. Thank you for the donations. I'm grateful. I'm humbled. Thank you for helping this queen get to 7,000 plus subscribers. The number is jumping more as I upload content. And I thank you for that. And don't worry about when I get jiggy. That's just a queen. No harm, no foul. But I bring it to you real, raw, uncut, unfluffed. That's who I am. I will try to go live a little bit later. I will try to decide what topic I will veer on. Because it seems like it doesn't matter if I ever talk about this child missing out of the holler. it never stays on the topic. It goes all around everybody involved, who did what, who didn't. It never stays on the topic I actually choose for the video. And I'd like to sometimes, I mainly like to hear people's opinions pertaining to the topic. That's why I choose the topic. Because at some point, when you keep talking about the same thing over and over, it is why people are complaining that it's just gossip. You're only explaining the rumors, but not the headline of what I'm asking to speak about. And I'm noticing that trend when it comes to talking about these missing children. The conversation veers away from my topic, and it's all about what Pookie said, Ray said, they did this, they did that, remember this, remember that, and then it leaves the realm of what I actually made the video about. Frankly, I'm disgusted with all these cases. I'm disgusted with talking about children. I'm disgusted talking about missing children, deceased children, abused children. I'm sick of all of it, quite frankly. I think it's sad and it's baffling to me that it's always about the same thing. That's why I said all the stories are the same. It doesn't matter where they take place. The MO is the same. Somebody checked out of the child rearing business. And that's why you have a missing child, a abused child, a dead child. Somebody checked out. Somebody was heinous. Somebody is heinous. Somebody don't give a damn. So it's sad. As I say, I want to start doing something different with the network, and I will try to bring a story each week of a true crime case that is now cold and has not been solved. And that is my plan for everyday shenanigans. I'm trying to find my notepad where I had a suggestion for the chat. Hold on one second. Oh, Lord. I can't keep nothing. This is crazy. Hold on one second, guys. Okay, here we go. One second. Let me read this. I gotta go through my notes. Thank you all for joining me. It's very warm here in the high 10. I'm not touching that heat until it's almost dark. I can't do it. Lord have mercy. One second. There's a suggestion of something I wanted to bring to you guys. Oh, if I can find it. Yes, thank you all for joining me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. Let's see. Oh, you see these notes, they're just out of control. Well, I thought I wrote it down. Still looking, thank you. Lightning bugs, girl. Yeah, that was something we used to do as children. Try to catch the lightning bugs. Those days are sure long gone. Long gone. Okay, I found it. Whenever I come across a suggestion for a documentary, TV show, and or movie, I will bring a suggestion to the network, and I will try to bring something to put on the community page. That way, everybody can see the suggestion. My movie pick at the current moment is starring Bruce Willis and Megan Fox. Midnight in the Switchgrass, which came out July 23rd. So it just came out a couple of days ago at the movie theater. If you like true crime mysteries, you may enjoy this. I do not know if it's good or not. I have not gotten I've not read a review as of yet because I had wrote this down the other day, so I need to go in and find a review and possibly pull it up and put it on the community page for those who like Bruce Willis and or mysteries. That's my movie pick for the week. Midnight in the Switchgrass, starring Bruce Willis and Megan Fox. It has already been released to major theaters July 23rd. Midnight in the Switchgrass. That is my movie suggestion for the week. I want to thank you all for joining me, following the content, subscribing, sharing. I will bring you more content probably later this evening. As I stated, I want to do some things different with the channel, and that will be the start of one thing new, a movie suggestion and or TV show program to watch. So please check out this new movie with Megan Fox and Bruce Willis. Also, I will be bringing to the channel crimes that have not been solved. Cold case. That is my next venture, to bring cold cases to the channel. And I also would like to discuss Atlanta child murders. That is the most baffling case on the books. And I just found uploaded content today before I went live pertaining to new DNA and or evidentiary of the carpet fibers that linked the suspect to the alleged Atlanta child murders. Frankly, he didn't go down for all those said deaths of those children. And to this day, he claims he did not kill any of those children or grown men. And I would like to talk about Wayne Williams. That might be my topic tonight because I really like to give Summer Wells a break. I don't know if some of you are familiar with Wayne Williams, but it's a very intriguing story. Did they get it right? Do they have the right man locked up? Did the FBI profiler get it right? Is Wayne Williams guilty killing those children in Atlanta, Georgia, 40-some years ago? Or do they have the wrong man behind bars? That is commentary I would like to bring to the network soon. So for those of you who like going to the movies, Midnight in the Switchgrass is now playing at a theater near you with Bruce Willis and Megan Fox. Please go check it out. I plan on checking it out. Yes, check it out, Nancy. Wayne Williams. Those of you who are not familiar, he has been accused of killing children in Atlanta, in the urban area of Atlanta, Georgia, many, many moons ago. And to this day, he claims he is innocent. He is not the culprit. And know that he was not charged with all of those child deaths. I believe they got him on one that was happened to be an adult male. I will bring you commentary pertaining to Wayne Williams and the uploaded content I just came across today, and we will chop it up and decide if law enforcement got it right or they got it wrong. Is Wayne Williams guilty, or is an innocent man locked up in prison? Thank you all for joining me. Once again, if you want to donate, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. I thank you all. Thank the mods on deck. God bless all of you. First, for the children, if you see something, say something. Chad Carr, missing out of East Tennessee, 32 years of age, has not been seen or heard from. Sheena Kyle, 27, also Gospel, Tennessee, has not been seen from. No post to Facebook. Both have fallen off social media. Where are they? Somebody knows something. If you know something, please call your local authorities, Knoxville Police Department and or Clinton Police Department, Anderson County Sheriff's Department. If you have any information pertaining to Summer Wells, please call the TBI. There's a reward, I believe, in every case to date. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, V. All of you all. You're very humble. You're humbling me. Thank you so kindly for hanging in there. 36 viewing, that's all right. It's a hot day in the hot 10. I'm going to get out here. I need to find me another lampshade for one of my lamps. Because right now, the one I've switched over, she ain't working too well. So Queen going to have to get out here in this 100-degree heat and look for a lampshade. Just pray for me. Pray that I can make it back in one piece without passing out. Thank you all so much. God bless all of you. Prayers for the missing. Prayers for the deceased. Prayers for the families left behind to grieve. Prayers for our community. Prayers for us as as a whole. Thank you so much. Woo, 100. Lord have mercy. Please stop. Well, if it's 97 right now, that means it's 5 plus. So that means it's like 102 outside or 103. Thank you all for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. God bless all of y'all. Talk to you later. Thank you.